The sun'll come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow wipes away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just lift up my chin and grin and say, the sun'll come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow, come what may. The sun'll come out tomorrow. Hey, Tubies, I guess it's, I don't know, show tune day on Psychic Bob. Anyways, I love to sing. You know, I really don't claim to be a singer, but so many of you write me such nice comments. You say, Psychic Bob, keep singing. It brightens my day. And, you know, I'm all about bringing joy into this world. You know, as a psychic and as a Wiccan, I think we, you know, should cultivate joy. I think all of us are here for a joyful experience. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, Psychic Bob, my life's not joyful. Yeah, I know. We all have the hard times. But, you know, when we reach those days where it just seems impossible, I think having a good song just reminds us of what it's all about. So, like that song that I sing is from the show Annie. It's a Broadway play musical. And I saw that back when I was a kid. I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade. I went with a group of friends. And I've never forgotten it. I got to see Andrea McArdle live. And you know what's really interesting is Andrea McArdle, she was an actress that played Annie back in the 1970s. And back in the 1980s, after she kind of grew up, I actually got to hang out with her for a day. That's right. It's a long story, which I have to tell you in another video. But I actually spent an afternoon hanging out with Andrea McArdle, just her and I. It was really kind of cool. So anyways, I'll tell you that story later. But I just had to sing that song because I like that song. Well, welcome to Wednesday. Today is Wiccan Wednesday. For those of you who are new here, every Wednesday we discuss something mystical and magical from the Wiccan religion. I'm a Wiccan priest, and Wicca is a big part of my life. And I love to share my magical insights here, and that's what we do every Wednesday. So today I thought, gee, I don't know what we're going to talk about. And I thought, you know what? Let's go in the Book of Shadows. And I did this thing where I just randomly opened the Book of Shadows, and whatever it opened to, that's what we talk about. And what I opened to today was a really cool magical page in my Book of Shadows. And it's about the 13 powers of the witch. And by the way, if you like this or interested in this, you can buy this page over at rarewiccaspells.com. Lady Angela sells this at her site, rarewiccaspells.com. So you might want to get this. So anyways, I'm going to read through this, and then we're going to go back and talk about it, okay? So let's listen to the 13 powers of the witch. 13 powers do the witches claim. Their right of lineage by goddess name. Tie a knot and say the words, or hand on head the blessings conferred. A witch can give success in love, curse or bless through the goddess above. Speak to beasts and spirits alike, command the weather, cast out blight. Read the heavens and stars of night, divine the future, and give good advice. Conjure treasure and bring fortune to bear. Heal the sick and kill despair. Isn't that beautiful? That's so magical. I thought we'd talk about that because, you know, a lot of people, you know, find out that I'm a witch and they're like, oh my God, you're a witch? Oh my God, that's scary. I said, you know, being a witch is not something scary. It's actually a blessing. You know, in the olden times, you know, many villages, especially in Europe, had the local village witch. And, The local village witch could have been a male or a female, but they were known to have power, and they would be consulted in times of need. And they were always a bit mysterious. But let's talk about what these 13 powers are. And it says 13 powers do the witches claim, their right of lineage by goddess name. What they're saying is that all witches are imbued with the blessing and power of the goddess. When you become a witch, it's hard to explain to people. It's a deep inner connection to the goddess. Many witches believe that the earth is the goddess, and so many witches draw their power from the earth through healing, through working with herbs, crystals. And so the lineage, the right to call ourselves a witch, is something deep. It's a deep connection with the earth mother, with the moon mother, with the sea mother. And that's what we mean when we claim our lineage by goddess name. Back in the 1970s, there was a big debate. People used to say, well, you can't be a witch unless you're initiated by a witch in a Gardnerian coven. And many years ago, Scott Cunningham, one of my favorite authors, he said, well, that's how they used to say it. But he said, really, before the 1970s, he said, back in the ancient days, witches were solitary, many of them. Not all of them were in a coven, but yet they were known as healers and magical workers. And he said, where did their power come from? Their power came from the goddess herself. And he said, who makes a witch? Another witch or the gods themselves? And he said, I think the gods really are the ones who make the witch. And I have to agree with that. So that's where our lineage comes in. We claim our right through the connection to the Great Mother. And it goes on, it says, tie a knot and say the words, or hand on head, the blessings conferred. What they're talking about is, in the old days, witches used to do cord magic. They would wrap up knots and give them to people as gifts of power. And they said, when you have a need, untie the knot and the power will be released. They also used to lay their hands on people and put them on their head and confer a blessing. And a witch's blessing was considered very, very powerful. And, so this is something we still do. Sometimes people will recognize me and they'll come up and they'll say, would you give me a witch's blessing? And I know what they mean. And I'll lay my hand on them and I'll put a blessing on them. So this is another ancient witch tradition. Let's go on. It says, a witch can give success in love, curse or bless through goddess above. Well, it's true that witches can curse or bless. But the witches today, at least the Wiccans that I associate with, we don't do cursing. We don't need to. A witch feels that if somebody's creating havoc, they're going to destroy themselves. So we don't have to do black magic or curses. We'll let the karma catch up to them. But it's true that the witches can bring success and love and bring blessings. And many people would consult witches of old if they were having struggle with the relationship, or maybe they need a little extra power in their lives to move forward into being open to love. And that's something we do. I've had many people over the years come to me and say, Lord Bob, I'm trying to get over the grief of, my former breakup, and it's been blocking me. And I can make up a potion. Sometimes I'll make up an oil for them to anoint themselves with, or an herbal thing that they can put in their tea. And these things are all natural substances that bring healing to the body and the mind and the spirit. And so we can help bring success and love as witches. And so this is just confirming an ancient truth about the Wicca. Speak to beasts and spirits alike. Command the weather, cast out blight. Well, many witches are known to have a familiar, like witches of old used to get in trouble because they could talk to animals. They'd talk to cats, talk to dogs. And in the old days of witchcraft, having a pet was considered a little suspicious. If a single woman, an older woman, lived by herself and was seen talking to her dog, they thought, oh, she's got a familiar, she's a witch. But the truth is, witches did speak and still do speak with animals. And it says, this is the part and spirits alike. Now, as many of you know, I am a psychic medium. And as a medium, I do talk to the spirit world all the time. So yes, we talk to spirits as well. And I like to talk to animals also. The next line says, command the weather and cast out blight. This is the workings of weather magic. Many sea witches, who live by the ocean, oftentimes would do spells to help winds rise, to get ships moving, or maybe they'd have a spell to lessen a storm, or sometimes they'd want to charge up the atmosphere and have a big storm. But this is commanding the weather, and I'll tell you, witches do and can and still do that, okay? Cast out blight. What that means is many times if there was like a problem in the crops, like maybe a crop was not growing, or there could have been a fungus infection that destroyed like plants, like a corn crop or a wheat crop, the witches would do magic to halt that spread of blight. Some of it was done with magic, like literally sprinkling herbs. Like witches knew like certain herbs repelled pests, so they might sprinkle a field with certain herbs that would repel beetles or moths or whatever would be attacking the crop. So they would cast out blight, and witches today still do that. Then it says, read the heavens and stars of night. What are we talking about? Astrology, that's right. And also cloud divination or sun or moon divination, And I think most witches today still go out and look at the stars and the moon. And many of us, like myself included, love to do astrology. So we study the sky and the patterns, It's interesting, whenever there's an interesting transit, I'll go outside and look for it in the sky. And a few years ago, we had a really interesting alignment, which was like Venus and Mars were in like direct alignment. And it showed up in the sky like it was really like clear cut. And it was kind of cool, it was kind of cool to see. So we study all those patterns because as witches, we believe that the natural world communicates to us. All that is around us, above us and below us and around us, all carries a message, but only those who are attuned to the Earth Mother, attuned to the Sky Father, only they're going to get the messages. So many of us just miss it, don't we? But a witch shouldn't, okay? The next line says, divine the future and give good advice. Now, this is all of our tarot readers, all of our rune readers, those of you who do intuitive work and counseling and spiritual guidance. You see, the witches of old did that, and we're still doing it today. So bless all the diviners and the advisors, In the old days, many of the royal courts employed a witch to be an advisor to the king or the queen. And this still goes on, I'll tell you. I know in some levels in high society, people that, consult witches and advisors like that. So it still goes on. The next line says, conjure treasure and bring fortune to bear. Well, this is wonderful because witches would be consulted to find missing treasure. Now, how did they do that? It was clairvoyance. One of the psychics, they would conjure treasure and bring fortune to bear. This would also be like, for example, clairvoyance about business dealings or, coming events in the world that would affect economies. So that still goes on today. And then the last line says, heal the sick and kill despair. Isn't that beautiful? Witches are healers, as we've talked about. A lot of them do herbalism. A lot of modern witches do hands-on healing. Reiki, which is a form of channeling power into people. So yes, witches heal the sick and they kill despair, meaning a witch, an encounter with the witch, if it's a good witch, will leave you uplifted and restored and healed and brought back into balance. Balance with yourself, balance with your deities, balance with Mother Earth. You see, that's what we do. Witches are healers and nurturers. It's so sad that there's so many people who still think witches are evil. But, a lot of that was done by the Catholic Church back in the day. And, modern day Hollywood doesn't help any of us, really. But, so these are the 13 powers of the witch. And I wanted to share that with you. I hope this has brought you some insight and that you've enjoyed it. Tell me in the box below, do you possess any of the 13 powers of the witch? Maybe you're a witch just starting out and you're still discovering it. What have you discovered about your witch power? You know, where do you want to see your witch power? Some of you might say, well, Psychic Bob, I can't do any of that, but I'm just starting. That's okay. What do you think you might be able to do? What are you curious about? Maybe you want to do astrology, or maybe you want to be a healer and work with herbs or Reiki. All of these, you know, these are only 13. There's actually a lot more, but these are kind of standard 13 that are traditional. So you don't have to limit yourself to these. But tell me about your journey, especially for those of you who are Wiccans. I want to hear if you've had any experience with any of these. Well, guys, listen, I am so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. By the way, I forgot to show you yesterday. By the way, if you didn't see yesterday's video, we did messages from the spirit world, and I did little mini psychic readings for everybody. So make sure to pop over there and get your, messages, okay? So definitely check it out, all right? Also, I forgot yesterday to show you guys, this is my newest, oops, I got it, oops, okay. I looked backwards here. This is my newest artwork. I got glare in my eyes from the lights. This is called Zen Flame, and it's done in acrylics on paper. And if you like this art print and want to get your own copy, go to my website, PsychicBob.com. You'll see it as you scroll down through, and it's got instructions how to download it. And you can download it, save it to your computer, and print it out, and put it in a frame. This is one of my, as I said, modern works. It's inspired by the Zen art of Japan. In the Japanese culture, they do beautiful abstract pieces. Sometimes they do calligraphy, but the Zen movement, the Zen Buddhist movement, does very simple and yet profound imagery. And I was inspired by that, and that's what led me to create Zen Flame. So anyways, if you're interested in this print and would like a copy, go get it. It's only going to be on my website until Saturday. On Sunday, a new picture will go up. Every week I'm releasing a free artwork that I created. This is my own creation. I didn't steal it from anybody's website. And I've signed it at the bottom, so you'll have my signature. But go to my website, PsychicBob.com, and get your own copy of Zen Flame, okay? All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you for being here. You guys are best. Listen, if you want to get on my schedule for a private reading, I am getting a lot of calls. I think I might have a few openings left for this week, but if I don't, we'll get you on next week. Since my appearance on the Kelly Coffee Show on Monday, I get a lot of calls, so be patient with us. We are trying to get back to everybody. But give me a call at my office, 703-825-3929, or you can write to me at my official email, PsychicBobHickman@gmail.com. All of those links will be in the info box below. So let's connect. Let's make it happen. A private reading is you and me one-on-one for a full hour. And we're going to look at everything, past, present, future, spirit guides, messages from deceased loved ones, And like we say in the witches thing here, speak to beasts and spirits alike. Yeah, I do that, okay? So we can look at your pets and their issues. We can look at your spirit guides. We can look at those who you have loved and lost and connect with them, hopefully, as well. So, and I'll also answer all your questions. So, as I said, a private reading, full hour, you and me one-on-one. And I would love the chance to sit down with you and do a reading for you. So give me a call, 703-825-3929. You guys are best. I love you. Be back here tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Thursday. Vlog Thursday. Ooh, I don't know where we're going to go, but we're going to go somewhere and just have some fun tomorrow. So make sure to be back here. Anyways, please help me out. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, thumbs up. Make sure to hit that subscribe and hit the bell so you get the updates. And be part of Spirit Channel. You guys are the best. And we'll be back here tomorrow for Vlog Thursday. But until then, may all of you always blessed be.